Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 2 in the series between mouzHasu and LiquidTLO, Game 2 taking place here on Shakuras Plateau. Before I talk any more about this map, I need to make sure what version of the map it is. It is the 1.5 version of Shakuras Plateau. There are no longer destructible rocks leading straight into your base. That was one of the things I was happy for them to change, as Shakuras Plateau was originally designed as a 2v2 map and then is now changed to a 1v1 map. As you guys already know, you cannot spawn directly north or south of your opponent, and you are always to the left or to the right of your opponent. TLO spawning as the red Terran player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have mouzHasu spawning on the top right hand side as the yellow Protoss. TLO deciding to change it up, not having a particular color and now being red in this particular game. So this is going here we go. This is going to be yellow versus red, Protoss versus Terran. Now, because of the way the map is situated, there is a lot of different openings that people can try to go for. Fast expansions are much more popular, and I do expect this game to be a much more macro style of play. Another thing that they recently changed that I didn't notice until I had to do a map review of Shakuras Plateau. Your natural expansion now has 8 mineral patches, up from 7. So before in 1.1 your natural expansion was down or short 1 mineral patch. That is no longer the case. You do have a full set of mineral patches now at your natural expansion, as a command center now being built. So there we go, TLO going for a 15 command center and being extremely aggressive. Because of that, I do believe that Hasu will be training a Zealot very early on, as a probe now tries to come in, tries to get some damage onto that SCV. The probe now was currently stuck for just a second, but because a probe can naturally mineral path, it was able to squeeze out of there and now mosey along down over here once more. The probe still wandering around the map now, and now looking to get some minerals, and also stopping some mining from TLO's SCV as well. And it looks like he's going to go back for more, trying to get more damage onto that Stevie the SCV. Stevie the SCV needs to move. Come on, move over to the right, move over to the right. And oh, it looks like he is not going to move over to the right. Instead, trades himself for a probe kill. So there you go, 1 for 1, trading that probe kill there, as an SCV now wanders up this ramp and sees that his opponent is not spawning there. It is going to be a true cross spawn as a probe now makes its way down. So a Zealot already being trained now. The Cybernetics core is underway, and I believe that command center will be able to just continue to already upgrading to an orbital command. So it will be double orbital commands for a little while, not getting any gas, and now double Marines being trained and pumped out. So TLO, I guess he's adopting some of the things that he learned from Zerg, who says that you need to build a spawning pool or barracks first. Just build a command center. So command center now out. It is going to be double mules coming in, and with this double mules and also 16 SCVs, he is currently mining at the rate of a full base. It should be around 800 income. He does have 2 SCVs off now building those refineries, but yeah, 800 to 1,000. Oh yeah, it's 1,000 income, as one SCV mines at the rate of 6. So yeah, so 5 Marines now just hanging around over here, just in case any Zealots do try to make their way in. There is already a proxy pylon set up, so 1 proxy pylon allowing for the warp in of stalkers along this far side. And now you're going to see TLO quickly catch up in terms of the SCV count, as soon as these supply depots no longer make him supply locked. Still, a lot of Marines need to be trained and need to be used in order to fend off this attack, which will be incoming. Hasu is also getting sentries, so sentry is going to be a very strong counter against those Marines, as those sentries reducing the amount of damage that those Marines do from 6 to 4 or 5 to 3, depending on if you're attacking the armor or the shields. So the Protoss armor on the sentry is a base of 1, so the sentry is a little bit more durable, as the sentry now already coming up with guardian shield. SCVs now trying to move out, and the SCVs are going to absorb some of that damage already, now dealing some damage, going after that one particular sentry. The sentry has pulled away, so now going after the stalkers instead, and the SCVs are now getting the damage onto that one unit, and now 5 stalker against 4 Marines. This is going to be very, very bad, as those Marines need to figure out what to do. Stalkers are now going to charge up that ramp and now just get even more damage as SCVs running to the cause, trying to get as much damage as possible. Units, I believe, are warping in already here, so the reinforcements will be coming rather quickly. One SCV looking down the ramp quickly sees an army of Stalkers, needs to get away. SCVs and Marines continuing to battle it out. There is one bunker currently being built. The Zealot now going to charge up the ramp as some Hellions now coming over. So the Hellions getting some damage, and the Zealots taking some of that splash damage. More SCVs continue to battle it out. SCVs realizing that if those Marines die, then the battle is already lost. The Marines need to jump inside that bunker. Oh, the SCV that was building the bunker was destroyed. And now the Marines jumping inside that bunker there will be able to get some damage. It looks like the Stalkers do not want to try to test that front door any longer until they perhaps get a sentry with Guardian Shield. That bunker does increase the range on those Marines from 5 to 6, and that does help out significantly. We are also getting an armory, so a Thor may be built in a second, and a Thor, a very natural counter against sentries and Stalkers and Zealots trying to charge up that ramp, as that Thor, in addition to dealing a large amount of damage, is a massive unit that can break that force field. So a very good foresight already coming in from TLO. So one Stalker trying to walk up that ramp quickly, already taking some damage. More Marines going to be trained, and that armory needs a little bit more time to build in order to really get any true mileage out of this one, out of these two over here. So it may be double Thor production the instant that armory is ready. It looks like TLO is ready to just dump it into Thors. And is it going to be, yes, double Thors now being trained. So a very small window of attack for Hasu. Hasu does have his natural expansion already decently saturated, and he has his main base still decently saturated. 43 probes compared to 23 SCVs. Those probes, a lot of probes, meaning a very, very strong economy. I do not know how TLO is going to be able to get back into this. He needs to double train more SCVs. He needs to get another command center, and he also needs some units in order to break out. He is getting the 250mm strike cannons, interestingly enough, so that will stun Immortals and Stalkers. So if he's able to get the surprise factor off, kill off 1 or 2 Stalkers, and then use a 250mm strike cannon, he will be able to get that damage. And now in comes the Thors. The Thors, oh, force field, not being able to do very much at all. And you can see, once again, also that TLO also bought the Collector's Edition. That is the reason why TLO's Thors look just so amazing. Marines now coming in to engage. The Stalkers now trying to turn around, trying to get some damage, picking off some of those Marines. The Thors do have a decent range of 7 on their Thor's hammer. So the Thors now just making their way out. One Hellion walking out a little bit too far, and SCV also walking too far there. Thors, however, are very, very slow, and a poor probe walking straight into a Thor there. And now there are going to be, oh, another pylon here, and then perhaps trying to warp in units along the high ground. So that's not going to work. And now the probe just going to wander away. The Marines attempting to shoot down this pylon here. That pylon will just delay those Marines, as the pylon is just going to sit there and then just continue to take a lot more damage. I believe the Marines are going to be able to shut it down. And the Marines, oh, don't think to look into this position here. Are we going to get some warp in? Yes, there is going to be a Zealot warping in here. The Marines should see this. Yes, the Marines do even see that there is a pylon there, and now just warping in straight onto that high ground. The Zealots running straight into this SCV line. But the Marines and the Thors are already coming back in to reinforce, and an even larger number of Stalkers and Zealots. So this is now Hasu's game to lose. Hasu has the momentum. Hasu has the larger army. Hasu has the better income at this stage. 49 harvesters compared to 36, getting double the amount of gas. So unless Hasu makes a terrible mistake at this stage, TLO is probably going to lose this game, but it is still too early to call, as those force fields are now being pushed in. I do not know why force fields are even being used at all. They should be saved for Guardian Shields and Guardian Shields alone. When your opponent has 3 Thors, don't even try to force field. Bunkers now being placed on the low ground. SCVs continuing to be transferred, as we are now going into Banshee play. The Banshees there more to just try to deal a large amount of damage. Banshees have one of the higher DPS, is a very high DPS unit for 150 minerals and 100 gas. I actually, is it actually faster than? No, it is not it is not higher than a Thor though. So the Thor is actually a higher DPS, but the Thor is also much slower, so it is not able to catch up to those stalkers. And the Banshees are able to chase a little bit against those stalkers, and if the stalkers try to turn around and try to fire back at the Banshees can retreat, allowing the Thors to catch up and get even more additional hits. So triple starport now, so triple Banshees being trained up. It sounds like TLO is missing the macro ability of Zerg, being able to queue up 12 Mutalisks or 5 Mutalisks at a time, instead going into triple starport. And also building a Thor. That's something you rarely ever see. 1 Thor and 3 Banshees being trained up at the same time. That must have meant that TLO was sitting on a large cache of minerals and gas. You can see 2 Thors, and that's just hilarious. I don't know why I find that so funny. Probes now being transferred over here to the natural expansion for the bottom right hand side of the map, as we are now getting Zealots here, a proxy pylon already set up, and the Marines and Banshees are once again on the move. The Banshees look like they may be able to get some damage onto those Immortals. Immortals do move a little bit slower than those Stalkers, and oh, the Banshees need to be very careful, and allow those Banshees quickly destroying one of those Stalkers. Banshees dealing 24 damage per round of attack, 24 times 5. 24 times 5 should not be enough to destroy a Stalker in 1 round, but perhaps it was a Stalker that was low on hit points, like that red one, that blue and red one right there. In comes the battle. The Thor is now just continuing to push army-wise. 42-25 versus 34-50. Guardian Shields now being used. Stalkers focusing down the Banshees. Thors are getting even more damage across multiple units, and the Thors are just continuing to try to fight back. The Thors are continuing to battle it out. More and more of those Stalkers are getting destroyed, but the Zealots were just too much, and now TLO does say GG. So TLO losing game 2 in what is going to be a best of 3 matchup here. Game 3 is in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Now, Hasu did play a very, very effective game there. TLO got a little bit behind as soon as he had to bring over his SCVs in order to deal with that early aggression of Stalkers and Zealots. As soon as he lost a significant number of those SCVs, there was no real way as Hasu was able to catch up or just surpass him, not even catch up, just surpass him in Harvester count, getting more gas, getting more production units, and simply allowing his macro to take over. TLO knew that he couldn't expand. If he tried to expand, he would have simply lost, as Hasu was already 1 expansion ahead of him. He just needed to focus on building a very large army with what he had. Perhaps bringing over some of those SCVs as well would have helped him out, but he didn't want to try to all in it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between mouzHasu and Team Liquid's TLO here on Shakuras Plateau. Stay tuned for Game 3 in the Xel'Naga Caverns.